Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So first let's start with the main topic today. So there's been a big clash between the UK Air Force and the Russian Federation Air Force. So a Russian Su-27 was scrambled to escort an RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft and two RAF Typhoon fighters jets belonging to the UK over the Black Sea, the Ministry of the Russian Federation stated. As the Russian fighter approached the British aircraft, they suddenly made a turn away from the border, the department noted. So these British aircrafts were doing reconnaissance missions on the Crimean coast, maybe giving the Ukrainians intel of Russian Navy positions, maybe the aircraft where Russian stores its aircraft. Who knows? But we probably will get notified of a Ukrainian strike on Sevastopol or Crimea pretty soon. Very interesting. And the next news is coming from Russia and America and China and Canada in the Alaskan and the North Pacific region. So a Russian Tu-95 MS bomber, together with a Chinese H-5 strategic bombers, conducted a joint patrol over this region, the ones that I've gotten highlighted right now. So the flight duration was over 5 hours long, and certain stages of the route, the aircraft group was escorted by fighters from foreign countries. So if you can see here, huge amount of Canadian and American fighters were scrambled to escort these Russian and Chinese bombers away. So if you can see here, there was a lot of F-16s, and I'm pretty sure I saw some F-22 jets, maybe F-35s, but a huge amount of aircraft was conducting operations and clashing around here. So in total, I'll simplify it again. There was two Russian bombers, two Chinese bombers conducted patrols over Alaska, not over Alaska, but near Alaska, and as a result, Canadian and American fighters were deployed and escorted these bombers of the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China's bombers away. So very, very interesting, and I'll sure to keep you updated on this matter. We're going to go to news coming from Moscow. So Vladimir Putin has met with the Syrian President Assad in Moscow. So at the time of this recording, I've only got this piece of information. So by the time of the next video, I will tell you what these people have discussed about. Now we're going to go to Poland. Poland has launched an operation to strengthen air defenses on the eastern border. The code name of this operation apparently is called Air Dawn, according to the country's armed forces. This operation is in direct response to Russia's aggression in Ukraine, which has increased the risk of violating Polish airspace. So this was stated by the country's armed forces of Poland. So I'll make sure to keep you up on this situation. Next news is coming from Slovakia. So the president of Slovakia has threatened Ukraine with retaliation measures if the issue with the transit of Russian oil is not resolved. So I'll just go over it really quickly. So there's a pipeline going between Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine, and that feeds Hungary and Slovakia Russian oil from the company of Lukoil. So in previous hours and days, Ukraine has actually cut off this pipeline that feeds these two countries Russian oil. So now the president of Slovakia is threatening Ukraine with retaliation measures if the issue of the transit of the Russian oil is not resolved. So I've got a funny feeling. If you see in your bottom left corner, this graph. So this graph is showing which countries support Ukraine with the electricity the most. Poland is only 12%, Hungary is 38%, Slovakia at 24%. So if you can see here, Slovakia will probably reduce this number to 0. so to 24% to 0 because of this issue right now. So if this isn't resolved in the next, I don't know, couple of days, we could probably see Slovakia ceasing all support to Ukraine regarding electricity. I'll obviously keep you updated on that. There's been news that the Czech Republic will deliver approximately 500,000 rounds of 155mm ammunition to Ukraine by the end of 2024. This was stated by the Prime Minister. So I'll obviously keep you updated on that too. There's been some news coming from Ukraine. So the head of the Ukrainian army, Sursky. So Sursky has actually gave an interview to The Guardian. So the news outlet The Guardian. So I'll just go over the key statements that was stated in this interview. So I'll just go over the dot points that he stated. He stated that I know that we will win this war, and how. The general knows when the F-16s will arrive, but won't say so. They will approach the front no closer than 40 kilometers to avoid being shot down. So I really quickly just measure that out for you. 40 kilometers to the front line. Let's just get it here. 40. So we could probably see F-16s being deployed around here. He also stated that the Russian Federation invaded with a group of 100,000. Now it has grown to 520,000. And by the end of 2024, it is planned to increase the number to 690,000 Russian soldiers. The Russian Federation has a 1-2 or 1-3 advantage in technology since 2022. The number of Russian tanks has doubled from 1,700 to 3,500. Armored personnel carriers from 4,500 to 8,900, and artillery systems have tripled. The Russian offensive can be stopped. It depends on our brave soldiers, our officers. The achievements of the Russian Federation are tactical. There is no Operation Breakthrough. In principle, the enemy has not made a significant progress. The Russian Federation tries to capture Kharkiv and the neighbouring Sumy regions, but the attempt failed. If the Russian Federation is preparing an offensive in south of the Zaporozhian region, we will be able to give them a good answer. It is very important for us to save the lives of our soldiers. We do not defend ruins to the death, and do not throw our people into useless meat attack. Kiev had a plan to return Crimea. It's realistic, of course. This is a big military secret. We will do everything possible to achieve the international recognized 1991 borders. So very interesting statements from Sursky, the commander-in-chief. So sorry if that was a bit long. But this summer, the 14 Leopard 2A4 tanks that Netherlands and Denmark has purchased for Ukraine will be sent to Ukraine. So we can expect 14 Leopard tanks being sent to Ukraine. Now we got some statements coming from Turkey. So the Turkish Barata unmanned fighter jet Prototype 3 has successfully completed its engine run test. So this is a complete unmanned fighter. So who knows, maybe we're looking at the future right now. Maybe all air forces in the future will be completely unmanned. So I'll keep you updated on the updates of these unmanned fighter jets. There was also reports that a Turkish drone was shot down in northern Iraq, but no footage is to support this information as I speak right now. So there's been news from the Turkish Ministry of Internal Affairs statement today. So he stated that today our Interpol departments have received a call from the Russian unit informing us that a man named Yevgeny, a Russian citizen, organized a terrorist attack using a car bomb in Moscow, resulting in 2 people being injured. He arrived in Turkey on a Moscow and Bodrum flight. So, just to catch you up, there was a big car bombing that happened in Moscow. So, If you can see in this video here, I won't show you the whole video. A video has appeared of a car explosion in Moscow with the Deputy Chief of Satellite Communications of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces. The car explodes, so I'm actually unsure if this man actually passed away, but a number of unconfirmed sources have reported that the car belonged to the deputy head of transmitting radio center of the Russian military unit of 33790 in Moscow region. So this man was apparently a member of the Northern Military District. At the time of the explosion, he was in the car with his wife. So very interesting. So the man who did this obviously fled to Turkey, and he did get arrested. If you can see in this video, the man was arrested and probably now going to be deported to Russia, where he will be trialed. So we've got news coming from Iran and Armenia. So Iran and Armenia have reportedly signed a secret 500 million arms deal. So the deal includes various drones of the Shahed 136 and 127, 197. This deal includes air defense missile systems of many types. It's actually unclear how Armenia can actually afford this. This deal is considered substantial for Armenia, representing about a third of its 2024 defense budget, 1.4 billion. So this move could potentially anger Azerbaijan, as Tehran supplies its infamous suicide drones. So Armenia is buying Iranian drones and military equipment worth $500 million. So I'll obviously keep you updated on that. We've got news coming from Taipei in Taiwan. So if you can see here and here in this video, there's been multiple sirens going off across the whole island as part of Taiwan's military drills designed to prepare the country against a possible invasion. The exercises are expected to last only a few days. Next, we've got news coming from North Korea. So North Korea, stated by Japanese and South Korean Minister of National Defense, have stated North Korea may have now supplied Russia with up to 5.2 million 152 artillery shells. So in an interview with the Japanese newspaper with the South Korean Minister of National Defense, he said that about 11,000 containers, enough for 5.2 million 152 millimeter shells, had been shipped to Russia to date. So he also stated that we should expect this shipments to continue. So again, we're not sure if this is true, but very interesting thoughts and news coming from South Korea and North Korea. We've got news that Sergei Lavrov has arrived in Laos at this current time. At the time I'm recording this, I don't know. Haven't got news why he's actually in Laos, but some are saying that he is going to participate in this Southeast Asian nations meeting. So very interesting. Now we're going to go to the US debates. So a debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is expected to take place on September the 10th on ABC News. So very interesting. We've also got news that the Prime Minister of Israel addressed the Senate in America. So he stated a lot of things, mostly about the terror in Iran and how Iran is the main terror in the Middle East. He also stated that Israel and the United States should create a new alliance similar to NATO, but in the Middle East. It's aimed against the Iranian threat. So we could expect, if this were ever to happen, we could expect Saudi Arabia to maybe join this agreement. Obviously, Turkey maybe, and maybe other nations, but very interesting though. But he made multiple statements, the Prime Minister of Israel, but But most importantly, there's been huge riots and stuff that's been happening outside of the building where he was taking his speech. So a lot of Palestinian protests and riots broke out. So if you can see here, a video with the Palestinian flag being raised in DC after an American flag was removed from the flagpole outside of the Union Station. We've got this man who spray painted Hamas over this Italy. I don't know where this is, but it's in Washington. It's like a Christopher Columbus fountain. But lots of protests that's been happening. There's been spray painting in this bell. So, and there's a lot of protests. We've got news coming from Cuba that the ships of the Baltic Fleet will visit the port of Havana from July 27th to July 30th, according to the Cuban Ministry of Defense. So more Russian ships are heading to Havana. So very interesting. So now the biggest news today, I literally just got this right now. There's apparently been preparations for the Russian President Vladimir Putin to visit Turkey are now actively underway. The date has not been yet set yet, but the Kremlin spokesman told everyone. So Vladimir Putin is now going to visit Turkey. So I'm very interested to how this goes, because on the 17th of March 2023, there was an investigation of war crimes against humanity and genocide of the International Criminal Court, and under international law, Vladimir Putin is a criminal and he is wanted. So it'll be very interesting what Turkey does, because this is a NATO nation, and maybe there'll be a lot of hate coming from a lot of other NATO nations saying, why did you not arrest him or something? Or there'll probably be none of that. Who knows? I'm just rambling here, but that's all I have for you today. I am Non-Scene News. I will try and provide you the news that medias around the world do not show you. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe, and consider becoming a member or donating through YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.